Hello. Welcome to another video. I'm super excited to just have a real talk with Shay moment because I know a handful of you have definitely been looking forward to my take on the circle of life, why I do it, how I do it, when I do it, etc. And as always, any questions, hit me up in the comments. We're going to be talking today about how I life audit my life based off of 8 key areas that are meant to help our human thrive in today's modern day society. This was something that I learned in health and nutrition school, and I really loved it. I used to do it here and there, and now it is a quarterly ritual, but you can really do it whenever you want. So let's go ahead and dive in. But before we get started, if you are new to my world, hello. My name is Shay. I'm a holistic hormone and life coach. I help driven, ambitious millennial women learn how to make money online, age like fine wine, eliminate PMS like a queen, and get pregnant naturally. You will also find all things personal development, holistic wellness, and more. So if you like my vibe or what I teach, be sure to hit that follow or subscribe button, and let's go ahead and dive into today's video. All right, so let's talk about the circle of life. I like to do this at the start of every quarter. It really helps me focus, hone in on the 3 key areas that I want to focus on for that quarter. And I pretty much just do this usually within the first week of that new month of the start of the new quarter. I know clients of mine who like to do this just at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. You can do it on a monthly basis. It's really totally up to you. I personally plan my life in quarters nowadays, so that's why I do it here. So it's going to break it down into the 8 categories. We have physical well-being, things like your eating habits, movement, quality, rest, etc. We have mental well-being, thinking of things like your mindset, emotions, your self-care. We have your home, which is your physical environment, your living space. Career or business, in my case, I kind of have both. That's kind of your work satisfaction, the career direction, your purpose, your meaning, if that's how you see it. Finances, things like budgeting, saving, spending, investing, stability. How are you feeling in that area? We have relationships that can be romantic, so partnership, community, connection in general. Recreation, which is really like your passions, your hobbies, the fun, the things that bring laughter to your life. And then personal growth, like education, spirituality, dreams, and expansion. I really love it because it is based off of a science. It is based off of things that we know help our human being thrive. So I take each of those categories, and as you guys saw, it's a nice little wheel. And you'll go through each of those 8 categories. You're going to rate it 1 to 10. 1 being low, you're not feeling that great about that area, and then 10 being high. The goal is not to be at a 10. The goal is to just intuitively feel. Like if you heard relationships, when you think of your relationships, and this can be broken down into different categories, when you think of the friends, how do you feel? Scale 1 to 10. How do you feel with partnership or dating if you're dating? And scale it 1 to 10. The number that immediately pops up is the number that you want to go with. Try not to be in your head about it so much and really just come from the body and decide like, okay, this is how I'm feeling about this area of life. Amazing. After you've done 1 round of that, you are going to kind of see like how you're doing. A reminder, the goal is to not be at a 10, but if you're feeling pretty good, I personally scale it that if I'm feeling somewhere between an 8 to a 10 in an area, then that part of my life is doing solid. It doesn't need that extra TLC from me, and so I just leave it alone. The ones that are scored 5 or below, but especially if it's in like a 1 to 3 range for me, those are going to be the areas that I know are areas that are needing some more TLC from me, needing some more focus. Why is that happening? Is it coming through with mindset? Did something happen? Etc., etc. Once I've kind of pinpointed those areas that need a little love, you are going to do the exercise again, and you're going to be like, what is the number that I want to be at? And you can draw a circle around the first round and then draw a circle around the second round, and it's going to show you kind of that gap. It is a great visual representation, especially for my people that are visual learners, or things just solidify for you when you can really see it like, oh snap, like this is a snapshot of how my life is feeling, how I'm doing in these areas of my life. And then you can kind of think of how do you bridge the gap. From there, I like to go through a journal exercise with each of the key areas. I ask myself 3 main questions. What do I want this area to feel like moving forward? What am I doing great in this area already? And then brain dump anything else in that area that comes to mind intuitively when you are doing the practice. Once you've kind of done all of that for each of the areas, you will double down on 3 key areas. I'd pick 1 to 3 is usually what I suggest to my clients. You don't have to do 3, I do 3. But definitely between 1 and 3 areas that you really want to focus and hone in on and really move the needle forward to get you closer to the number you want to be at. So when it comes to that, I will double down on like what are the tools that support me in these areas of life? What is education or learning things, whether it's a book, a mentor, a course, etc., that might help you in that area of life. And really just kind of get clear on like what are some aligned action steps, what are things that I feel like are missing that I need education wise or mindset wise, etc. And I get really clear on how I can start to move the needle forward on that area. Is it a skill set I need to develop? Is it a mindset I need to shift? Is it just a matter of being more proactive or sticking to something that I told myself I was going to do, like being in integrity with my word towards my goals and towards my vision. So I get really honest with those areas. I map it out. I personally have fun with it. I will sometimes vision board with certain areas of life. I'll pick up books. I review courses that I used to have. Maybe I find mentorships that I can plug into that are giving me expansion. I really just go all in on those 3 key areas of life. And then I make a commitment to myself as like, what are the action steps that I need to take this quarter to get me to those goals? And I write down those goals. I usually pick 1 to 3 goals to super focus on that I know is going to move the needle forward the most. One of my favorite books that I read is called The One Thing. And in that book, they talk about if you only focused on one single thing that would create a domino effect, that if this was the only thing that you focused on, it would make everything else irrelevant in relation to the goal and the thing that you were wanting to accomplish. And if you think of the domino effect, we have one at the beginning, the one to the end. And if you hit that domino at the beginning, it knocks down all of the other dominoes. So that is how you want to think of your action steps. And it's not always going to be perfect. It's not about being that. It's just kind of thinking like, what's the action step that's going to move the needle forward for me the most? For example, for me, I am working on my business. I am working on some specific business goals that I want to accomplish for the remainder of the quarter / the remainder of the year. But I'm really focusing on the micro moments that are going to make up the macro moments. And for me, the number one thing that is going to move the needle forward the most is my content. So I focus on my content and making it the best it can be as often as possible with the time that allots me. And when I focus on that, it's kind of a domino effect for everything else in my business. So that's a tangible example. Another piece, health and fitness is a really big one for me right now. So the thing that's going to move the needle forward the most for me is going to be my nutrition. If I am nailing my nutrition, only focus on my nutrition, my workouts are going to be better, my sleep is going to be better, my energy is going to be better, etc. So it's that domino effect in these key areas of your life. And of course, you want to think of it for yourself. So I'm going to include the Circle of Life exercise down below in the description section. So you are welcome to download it, do it yourself, tag me in stories if you do it. I always love to see the things that I put out in the wild. So it is a love language for me when you share my work or share that you learned something from me. I'm super curious to know who is going to try this. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video.